I'm Mumma B. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is lesson 1 part B. So lesson 1 I showed you how to set up your sewing machine, including winding the bobbin and threading. Now I showed you all of that on my Singer sewing machine, but I understand as beginners many of you will be using a machine similar to this one. This is a version from Hobbycraft, but I know it's very similar to those that you can get from John Lewis and the Janome Mini as well. So I thought I would just quickly go over those same steps with you, but on this machine. So the main differences here to the machine that I showed you in lesson 1 is that this is a top-loaded bobbin. The bobbins are metal rather than plastic, and you'll notice that the spool on the top is a vertical one. So what we're going to do is start her off. This machine came threaded, so I'm going to take the bobbin out. It's just a plastic cover that slides off, and you just use your finger and just lift the bobbin out very, very easily. Now, very much like on the version I showed you in my lesson, just pay attention to the way the thread comes off the bobbin as you take it out. If your machine doesn't come loaded, and then just take a look at your manual to see which way that thread goes. So I'll take that one out, and I've got an empty bobbin here that we're going to start with today. Okay, just because where the position of the dial and the bobbin winder are on this machine, I'm going to show you it from behind, which does mean that I've cut my head off, but I hope you don't mind watching from this angle. So take your thread, and you'll see here on the other machine I showed you there was a small metal clip for step 1. On this one you actually just hook in the thread underneath this little plastic part here, and then we're going to wind it around the outside of the dial. Now I'm following the diagram. I've got a diagram on my machine here, and I'm sure you'll have the same if you have got a machine like this. So follow the pattern of the thread. Take the thread end, feed it through the hole in the outside of the bobbin, and push it down onto the bobbin winder. And just slide that across. It's a bit stiffer on these machines. Hold on to this end nice and firmly, and then put your foot down. Okay, it's not full, but we're going to leave it there. So we're just going to take our scissors and snip the thread there. I'm going to snip the end of this little thread that I was holding as I was winding. Push this back across and lift it up, and that is your bobbin wound. And I've got a little friend joining me here, as you can see. Oh yeah. Little curly girl at the side. Okay, so with a quick change of camera angle, hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. It's time to load your bobbin into the machine. Now, on a machine like this, it's really, really simple. Remembering which way your thread came off your bobbin as you took it out of your machine, hopefully you can see that on there, you just place the bobbin in the hole. It's so, so simple. Now, some machines similar to this will have a little catch on the bobbin casing that you need to catch the thread in. And if you do, you just pull it to the side and just pull it around, and it will naturally catch on that hook. This machine doesn't, so all you've got to do is just hold the thread to the back there. Now if you remember, on my Singer machine we had to manually raise the bobbin thread. You don't need to do that on this one. You just pull the thread to the back and it's there ready to sew. So all we've got to do now is thread the top of the machine. So another way this is easier as well is that step 1 on this is the same as for winding the bobbin. So if we just pick our thread up from where it was, it's already threaded through that first step around that dial. If I just around this dial here, it's already there from when we wound the bobbin. So all we're going to do now is follow the arrows, the diagrams on the machine, through this chain. Remembering the tips from lesson 1, make sure your presser foot is raised. There's a lever at the side there to do that. Make sure it's up, and make sure that this little arm with a hole in the channel here is raised, because you do need to put the thread through the hole in that. So if it's up high sticking out like that, it's going to be much easier to do. So take your thread, follow it down this first channel to step number 2, which is to come underneath and back up this side. And now if you take the end of the thread, you're going to feed it through the hole there. Okay, And then back down the other side. You can pull it gently. If you haven't got enough thread, just pull gently and it will glide through. This is step 4. Now the next step is to put it through the hole at the top of the needle. On lesson 1, it was kind of a slightly different thing. You had to just slide it underneath the hook. This one, we've got a hole just like up here that we need to feed through. So at this point, what you can do is if you turn the hand wheel towards you, the needle will go down and it's just a lot easier to thread it into that hole. So take the end, thread it through the hole. Oh, sorry, my hand's in the way. If I do it that way, I'll try and do it left-handed so you can see. Through the hole there. Okay. And now, if you turn your needle again, it will go up to enable you to actually put the thread through the end of the needle. So again, I'm just going to snip the end off. It makes it a little bit easier to get it through there. I know my hand's in the way, but hopefully, you know, you're just threading the thread through the hole in the needle. Remember to go from front to back. And then if you pop that under the presser foot and pull it to the back, you've got 2 threads at the back of the machine ready to sew. So we're going to just pop this plastic casing back on. And then, with a little bit of scrap fabric, my nice pink spots again, just an old piece of bed sheet, fold it in half, pop it underneath the presser foot, push the presser foot down. We're on a straight stitch using this stitch selector, so we're on number 2, and you can look across here and see number 2 is a straight stitch, so that's fine for us to practice with. I'm going to turn the needle down to the place where I want to start sewing, and fingers crossed, it works. If I want to turn around, lower the needle, lift the presser footer up, pivot around on there, presser foot back down, and sew. There we are, easy as that. Thank you.